and welcome to our culture magazine on I-24 News. I'm Oded Grober. I'm very happy you chose to join us, and today we have a very interesting show for you. The multi-talented percussionist and musician Chen Cimbalista will be in the studio. The EPOS Film Festival shows films that deal with art. And a colorblind man can now hear colors. Chen Cimbalista is a world-famous musician, percussionist, and conductor. Ever since his parents sold their car to buy him his first marimba drum, he has mastered over 40 different percussion instruments, which he plays in various styles, from classical to folk to pop. He's played with orchestras from the US to China, won several prizes, and recorded 3 albums, the last of which, Levitation, came out just 3 weeks ago. Very happy to welcome Chen Cimbalista to our studio. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
So tell me, how did you get to this point? How did you start playing, and why percussion?
It's very easy, you know. Any kid wants to play percussion, right?
Oh, so banging pots and pans
Exactly.
in the kitchen? I'm sure that's exactly what it sounded like when you were 4.
I guess so, but it was very quick when I made my first turn into classical, having my amazing teacher from the Israel Philharmonic,
Yeah.
Mr. Bohr, and he taught me music, and he made me playing the marimba, which is like a big xylophone, and it is a percussive, but you can still play beautiful melodies. So I was playing a mix of classical arrangements by Bizet, Carmen, and also pop music or gypsy music, like what we can see now. That's the little xylophone I play. I played last night with the Jerusalem Symphony. Yeah, sweating.
It looks like hard work. What are some of the instruments that you're playing?
Well, it turns from any kind of drums, Chinese, Indian drums, the doumbek, Middle Eastern, tambourine that we can play in the Middle Eastern way, the classical way.
Wow.
Okay, and going into all kind of drums, Chinese gong, temple blocks, and the great thing is, you know, I have a big studio with all these kind of instruments, from that kind of gong to the small one. And when people composer come to compose for me, it's like, you know, they're coming into a toy shop.
It's like
Oh, I want this, and then I found myself, oh my God, now I have to play all these together, and it happens. I mean, I have some composition that each hand is holding 2 mallets, of course, so it's 4 mallets together. Each leg is playing a different rhythm, and it grooves.
A lot of work, yeah.
Yes.
Do you think that percussion gets enough respect in the classical world?
In the classical world, no, but don't forget that Beethoven, Mozart, and Haydn knew the timpani, then a little bit of cymbals, and the classical instruments, bass drum, cymbal, triangle.
Very limited.
Yeah, what the Turks were bringing over the world those days. But today, when we have great composer, either they compose for me or American composer, European, when people like me and others can play so many instruments together, or so people write more and more, and I know my instruments, I see them only front. And whenever I conduct the orchestras, I always give the percussionists, play louder. So play louder, because we have the thing, you know, conductors, like I was playing with Zubin Mehta when I was young.
Yeah.
So when he gives you a cue, so, you know, immediately play softer.
Ah,
you know, it
I
doesn't
see.
give,
And you're willing to
said,
bring it on.
So,
Speaking of conducting, how'd you get to conducting?
you know, conductor, the first thing he needs is to have a good spirit and to like the musician and to be able to drive them there. I was studying in New York, and my teacher from the New York Phil saw me conducting in one of the lessons, the percussion and stuff, said, wow, you look good there, you know, you should think about it.
It's all about appearances.
Yes, and then I put it there, but I was not that busy with conducting. I took it like a minor studying. And after a while, I started to play and conduct. And I realized that I feel comfortable, that don't have someone to deliver the music to the orchestra and to the audience. It's me with the orchestra. And it felt comfortable. And then they said, so why won't you conduct a symphony? I mean, and then I took it seriously.
Does that let you bring new things into the world of classical music? Or I mean, it has a bad rap in a way, classical music, you know, stagnant and kind of like not moving forward. What do you think? It won't be right to say I'm trying, but I believe that I bring new spirit to the beautiful classical music. Last night I conducted Beethoven's Fifth Symphony. We've heard it so many times. Ta-ta-ta-tam, ta-ta-ta-tam. But when you go and you hypnotize, the musician said, ya-da-da-da, da-da-da. It sounds different, and the audience are like, and sometimes I get very fast tempo. So I look at the limit that Beethoven said, okay, not faster than 104, so I take it 106. Okay, but I try to. What it'll sound like at 120, 140, what?
You know, to keep the music in the right shape, but really to put the booze and the energy, and not letting the players rest for 1 minute, you know, all the time. And then when they play well, I do that. I give them, you know, so it brings good energy to the show. I mean, it's a show.
Right. You also play with there's a young Israeli band you played with, Boom Pam, right? That bring a different.
We can see that's the concert of last night.
Yeah.
With the amazing tuba player. His name is Tubi, by the way, or Yuval.
Yeah, from Boom Pam.
He's from Boom Pam, and he played Rossini, Figaro, look, yeah, on the tuba. The audience went crazy. They were like, whoa, that's the rehearsal. Okay?
All right. Chen, last question. What's next for you?
What next? Whoa. Azerbaijan in the summer. Then I have a course I'm teaching South France. I'm preparing a new percussion concerto. Next season with the Jerusalem Symphony Orchestra and Beersheba Sinfonietta. We have kids and
keeping busy.
She's coming. Yes.
All right. So take us away with a few.
Okay. So we'll go back to the tambourine.
All right. Thank you so much, Chen Simbalista.
Thank you.
This week, the Tel Aviv Museum hosts EPOS, an international film festival dedicated to art, artists, and video art. Here's a look at some of the films the festival has to offer.
For its 5th year, the EPOS Festival will screen 50 films from around the world and also hold workshops, masterclasses, lectures, and meetings with artists from all over the world. But the main focus of the festival are the films themselves. EPOS presents documentaries about the visual arts, music, literature, theater, architecture, and dance, along with video art and experimental films that use the medium in new and unique ways. The festival opened with a screening of The Dove Flyer, filmmaker Nissim Dayan's adaptation of Eli Amir's novel about the Jewish community in Iraq in the years after the establishment of the State of Israel. The film, Sophie Calle Untitled, is a profile of the French writer, photographer, and installation artist.
I don't want to sit down in front of a camera and talk about my life.
Calle herself took a very active part in the making of the film, directed by Victoria Clay Mendoza, and it's infused with her character and spirit. Viva, Cuba, Libre, Rap is War, is a film shot secretly with hidden cameras about 2 young men in Cuba imprisoned for listening to forbidden rap songs. The film documents the brewing tensions within the country and its underground music scene by intercutting the stories of the young men and their favorite band. Aside from films about artists and the artistic process, the Film as Art category presents experimental movies and video art. Death of a Man in the Balkans is a Serbian black comedy which presents a story that unfolds in front of a static camera. The film All This Can Happen by Siobhan Davis and David Hinton is a compilation of images and sounds from the early days of cinema, coupled with narration based on Swiss author Robert Walzer's story, The Walk. The festival will also screen the BBC's documentary about David Bowie's 1974 performance, Cracked Actor, the Rolling Stones documentary Crossfire Hurricane, outtakes from Chagai Levy's docudrama series The Cursed, and When Björk Made Edinburgh, a film that documents meetings between the Icelandic musician and the British filmmaker. Visitors to this unique festival can explore the way film documents art and the possibilities of cinema.
Looks very interesting. Now, how would it feel to hear colors? Using a special technology, a colorblind artist is able to hear different colors as different musical notes and transform the spectrum into a concert. Shachar Peled has the story.
Some see the world in black and white. Others can't distinguish between red and green. In fact, 1 out of every 12 men in the world are colorblind. Among them is Neil Harbison, a British-Spanish artist and musician who was born with achromatopsia, which means he sees no color. But where his eyes might no longer be able to sense different parts of the color spectrum, his ears have stepped in, using a special antenna connected to his head.
So it basically picks up the light frequency in front of me, and then it sends it to a chip, and the chip transforms the light frequency into sound frequency, and then I hear colors through bone conduction.
Yes, Harbison can hear colors. Just instead of using his ears, he uses vibration through his bones.
So when I look at art, I can hear the art piece. So to me, painters have become composers, so I can actually hear Picasso or an Andy Warhol or this art piece that for me is just different notes. For example, here it sounds higher pitch. Here we have F sharp, F, A, so it's different notes, and there's many silences in between because black is silence. So it's actually a very musical painting.
Since 2004, the antenna has been permanently attached to Harbison, and now he is trying to share his extraordinary experience with the world. After developing an app which allows people to use their smartphone's camera to analyze color and transform it into sound, Harbison decided to conduct an orchestral performance.
We tried to teach a choir and a quartet to play colors so that instead of reading a score, they would play the colors that I would beam on them with lights.
The culmination of the challenge was a concert conducted by Light and Shades, used in order to play Harbison's composition. In the junction where art meets technology, being able to communicate such a different way of seeing and hearing is an opening to a new and unprecedented world where sounds become visible and colors audible.
And now Avri Rosen-Tzvi is here. Hello, Avri.
Hello, Dad.
We're going to talk about something very important.
Yeah, we're going to talk about Popcorn Time, which is a piece of software that has the potential to totally revolutionize the viewing of pirated films.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I would imagine that we're hoping it'll revolutionize the way that studios choose to bring films to us legally.
That's the next stage.
One after the other.
That's the next stage.
So what's Popcorn Time?
Well, it's a software that came out at the beginning of the month. It was developed by Argentinian people, and it's sort of a software that works on the basis of person-to-person downloads, which means it's not from a website. It's from users who have the files around the world, but it streams it for you very simply and very easily.
Right, and this is really the breakthrough, because to pirate movies from people has been around for a while, but never this easily.
Yeah. That's what people are talking about. That this software is so accessible and so simple that they're talking about it like they talked about Napster for music. It's so easy that it sort of makes all the other ways obsolete, you know. And it's been described as the Netflix of pirated downloads because
the usage is so similar.
Because the usage is very similar. It's they sort of borrowed the style and the feel of it from Netflix, and of course
is it legal or is it not legal?
Well, the software itself is is totally legal because it can be used. It can be used for anything that's torrented, which can be files
Any
that
sort
are
of
legal.
video content.
Any sort of video content.
Right. So the makers of the program don't actually have any films.
They don't have anything.
Right.
It's just a conduit for the content. Now, most of its uses are totally illegal. It's for streaming online movies.
And it closed as a result.
It did.
Even though it is legal, they closed down the project.
It did close. I mean, when it came out, there was really a big commotion about it. The studios were very upset, but most of the online community were really for it because everybody hates the way the movie industry behaves.
Right.
And they sort of had the developers sort of had to talk all the time about is it legal or illegal, and they got tired of it, so they decided to close it down. But because it's open software, people just took over the code and reopened it.
Right. So, and hopefully one day the movie industry will understand that this is the way to deliver films to the end user. And hopefully it'll be here one day. Thank you, Avri.
Thank you, Aded.
And thank you. I hope you enjoyed our show and that you'll choose to join us again tomorrow.